Hello, today I'm gonna show you how to customize your clock and pen holder combo like this, like I did for my daughter's teacher, Miss Bell. Open your favorite slicer and let's dive in. Okay, first thing you want to do is go to Makerworks website and search for clock. And one of the first results that you're gonna see the Makerworks version of it. But you may want to customize it because it's too standard. So you want to select the second one because this second one has a special finish on the top, on the surfaces, on the top surfaces that is really nice and it looks like really sharp. So you're gonna download it and then open it with Bamboo Lab Slicer, like I'm doing right now. Now that we have it open, let's go ahead and close this out, and we're gonna go ahead and download the next file. Go back to Makerworks site and find or search for Retriever. And my daughter and I found this cute picture of the dog that we wanted to put as the background of the clock. So go ahead and download that one. And now we can see that it's in the folder, download it. We're not gonna mess with it yet, but we're gonna go ahead and download the next file. So the theme here is going to be dogs. So let's look for a bone. Search for 2D bones and you'll find this screen. So we really like this one, but we ended up downloading that one because that looks like something that we can attach to the clock. So let's click on that one. There's no print profile, and we're just going to have to download the STL files and we'll slice them ourselves. We can see the bone right here is downloaded. Now let's go ahead. While I was searching for 2D bones, I found this bookmark. One of the first searches we did is bone, and we found in the bones section or search results, we found a bone that looked like a bookmark, and it's actually a bookmark that it's a bone. So we ended up adding it as a bonus for the teacher. Remember, this is a project that my daughter asked me to build this clock and pencil holder for her teacher, and she told me she loves dogs. She brought a picture of a golden retriever, and that's the theme for this video. Back to Bamboo Slicer, we're gonna go ahead and click on plate 1 and this object that you see right here. Let's look at the first subpart that conforms that object and change the color to see what that is. Okay, that looks like that is the background to me. So let's change the name by clicking again, and let's just change the name to background. This is so that we can guide ourselves. Now that looks like it's the logo. This, let's change the color and see what that is. So by changing the color like that, click away. Now I know that is like the surface. So let's go back and change the name. Let's go back and change it to black and change the name to top part. Now this next part is the numbers. I can see it by the highlight. When I select it, the numbers just highlight, and these are going to be see how the letters are highlighted, so that those are going to be the letters. So now, since I'm not going to be able to edit these letters, or these words, I'm just going to delete them. So click on delete, or right click and then select delete. And then I'm also not going to be using this logo, the bamboo logo, so I'm going to delete that as well. Click back on the object, right click, and then select add part. Click on load, and then you're going to add the little bone that we downloaded previously. It's important to add it as a part because it will be part of this body, so it will print together. So move it back and then scale it. You will find it, if you want to select it, you will find it under the body, and then you can select it directly. So I lost my selection here. I'm just trying to make sure that it's on top of the background of the clock where the clock is. And as you can see, I have to go back and search it underneath that body, and I updated the name just to make sure that I can click on it like immediately if I want to find it. And then I'm just trying to change the size, but click on uniform scale so that you're not selected on the uniform scale, so that I can change the Z size. So I'm just changing the depth. How big is it on top of the background? I don't need that much, so I'll just leave it like that. Once you Once you place it on top, make sure that it's just barely touching. That way you avoid a lot of filament changes in your AMS. So just like that, it should work fine. Now let's click back on the file and then let's add the letters. We're gonna click on text and we're gonna emboss some text by selecting. You have several options for fonts. On my Mac, on the Bamboo Lab app, it wasn't working. So no matter what font I select, it will always print the same. So I select the words there for my daughter's teacher, Miss Bell. I'm gonna add a dot and then I'm gonna make it bigger so that it fits better with my front panel of my clock design. Something like that, that looks fine. And we notice it's not that thick, so I'm gonna increase it a little bit and just move it by selecting this yellow cube, and you can move it out of the way. Now I'm gonna speed up the camera, but you're just gonna basically do the same thing. Click on your body and then click on the text, add the text, and I added plus sign, minus sign. I added the division here by Googling the division and copying and pasting because my keyboard doesn't have a division symbol. And then I added a 1/2, and you can rotate it by clicking on the angle and just rotating it. Now on the left panel, find the last text shape that was added to the body and adjust the Z-axis height so that it's barely touching the surface, just something like that. And do this for the rest of the text shapes. Now let's bring the golden retriever image that we have downloaded previously from the MakerWorks website. Import as geometry only, and then let's wait for it to load, and we're gonna see how there's a big image loaded onto the plate. Let's zoom out. Let's lay the dog on the face backwards so that you can see the image on top. Let's rotate by the Z-axis by 180 degrees, and then let's scale it down. Remember, I want the size of the background of my clock. So since the dog is not a part or a component of the body of my clock face, I have to do this by eye calculation, so more or less changing the size so that it will fit the clock circle background, and I move it and adjust it to fit in there. This is just, I'm gonna print it on the side, but this is just so that I can tell the size of the dog against the circle background of the clock. Once you're satisfied with the size, move it to the new plate and then resync your colors so that the machine loads whatever you have on your Bamboo printer so that it syncs the AMS colors, and you'll see it like that. With the dog selected, right click on it and add a negative part. We're gonna add a cylinder because we need the hole for the clock. So we're gonna go ahead and click OK to add modifier, and we're gonna drag this cylinder and we're gonna make it the size of that hole that is in the face of the clock. So let's see, let's move it so that it goes through my object to make sure that it's gonna go through the dot, and then adjust the size to make sure that it will be the same size. I'm gonna speed it up for the adjustments. So you just want to make sure that the cylinder fits that hole that is in the face of the clock. Now what we're gonna do is zoom out and selecting that same dog. Remember that cylinder is part of the dog. Selecting the dog will put the dog where the cylinder is, and you just want to make sure to center the dog so that it fits underneath that bone that I put in there, but it fits within that circumference where the numbers of the hours are. So I'm gonna speed it up again, but it's just so that you know I'm moving the dog. Right now I'm focused on centering the dog against the background, not so much of the cylinder. The cylinder I can adjust at the end, but I want to make sure that the dog is centered, and now it looks like it's centered. Now make sure that you select the object, the dog, the body that comes with the cylinder, and move it back to its own plate because this is going to be a multi-material print, and you will be set. Make sure that the cylinder goes through the dog, just like that. And let's get to slicing and printing. That's it. Let's head over there. If you bought this configuration and this model works with the clock components kit 011 from the Bamboo Lab store. Now, if you're like me and you bought or you had another clock laying around, then you probably want to modify this file, and I'll show you how to do that. I want to point out that the license that is posted on the website for this specific model is standard digital file license. So you shall not share, sublicense, sell, rent, host, transfer, or distribute in any way the digital or 3D printer versions of this object. Any other derivative work of this object in its digital or physical format, including but not limited to remixes of this project and hosting on other digital platforms. So I'm not hosting these files. What I'm gonna do is this is for education purposes. I'm gonna show you how you can customize it. And the author himself or herself, the author of the file, they're asking show pictures but do not share modifications of the file. So what I'm doing is just teaching you how to do that. So let's go back and let's start by exporting the pieces where the clock is installed. So let's export it as an STL, and this turns it into a mesh file. So let's export these pieces only into an STL file. Just save it there, and then we're gonna open up Fusion 360, and in this I already have the modified part, but I'm gonna show you how to do it yourself. So start by inserting, and we're gonna go to the menu insert on the top right hand side. Let's ignore that part for now, the piece that I already have loaded. Let's insert a mesh just like that. From my computer I'm gonna select the one that I just exported from Bamboo, and then I'm gonna rotate this and separate it from the other part, so that the other part I'll make it invisible here in a minute, but we want to work with these parts, so let's just put it on the side just like that to make sure that we can work with it. And the first thing, so once you have selected those arrows to or moved it, or use the arrows to move it, click OK, and now you can see how it is loaded. It is loaded as a mesh, so we're gonna work with a mesh. So we're gonna go back to the menu mesh, and then we're gonna click on generate face groups, and we're gonna go to the right hand side and then just click OK. You don't have to change anything on that side. So now that we have all the faces, now we're gonna turn it into an STL component. It's gonna have a lot of faces for an STL, but we can delete faces and it averages out all of the faces. So make sure that you select the entire object, go back to menu modify, and then click on convert mesh. So you're gonna convert it into, make sure you select it, and you're gonna convert it into an STL file. So this is how the STL file looks. So you select one face, hit delete, and you can delete the faces so that you only have one face. This is important. Click on this edge and delete that face, and click on the bottom side where the clock is gonna be laying and delete that. And you can click on many faces and delete them. Just make sure that you don't delete more than what you need. Let's measure this side just to make sure. I needed to make my measurements, and here I'm highlighting with orange, not with the mouse, I made a mistake, but with the orange I'm highlighting the measurement of the height. I ended up needing 7.5 more millimeters, so I select the face of the top as in the video, and then I am just extruding upwards 7.5 millimeters. Now is the turn for the bottom part. For the bottom part, I just select the face, and I need to create a drawing. So just as I indicated, I'm gonna create a circle that has 2 points. So a 2-point circle. I select that option, select one edge of that circle, and then I'm creating a drawing on top of where the clock is installed. So I'm just gonna offset that by 2 millimeters, Just by selecting that, you hit 2 and then click OK. And now I have another face. So I have that face that I can extrude. So let's go back to solid, select this face, and then move it so that you can extrude it upwards. And I need the same 7.5 millimeters as with the top. So this will help me because the arm of my clock was taller than the original from Bamboo Lab Kit. I'm doing this so that I can fit my own clock into this arrangement. And with that, you have your file finished. Now you can export it. If you select it, you can select it and then export it by going to File and then exporting as 3MF. Then open it in Bamboo Lab. Just import it. I'm selecting the correct one. Clock sign. And then you'll see, in this case, import geometry only. It imported both, but I just need one, so I'm just gonna, you can see that it's a taller version and it has the ring in the inside. So I'm just gonna select away by clicking away and then clicking one of the versions and just deleting. And that's it. Now I'm gonna just select the right color for it by right clicking on it and selecting the right filament, which is I want this in black. And for the top part of my clock, or the front piece, I'm going to select the top part and I'm gonna change it to brown. I think that's gonna be a better combination for my setup here. We didn't forget the bookmarks shaped as bones, little bones. So let's add that to this plate because I want them in black so they can stand out from the white pages of a book or any documentation. So let's import as geometry only. I told you there was no print profile for this, but it's real simple. Just select it, move it on the side, and it'll print just fine. Let's clone it because I want to give the teacher a few of these, and then let's just organize it better. And that's it, we're ready to print. Let's slice each one of the beds to make sure they all slice correctly. As you can see, there's no errors. Everything is going to print just fine. And look at that surface. That surface looks beautiful. Beautiful. I have another example where it printed and it just pops out. It looks really nice. So let's slide the next plate, and then let's slice the little dog. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but it slices just fine. And let's bring them out and let's show the end result. Let's put it together and let's show the end result. Alright, assembly is gonna be super easy. Notice this triangle on the base. We're gonna take out one of those triangles and we're gonna glue it. Just one drop of glue will suffice. Just like that. Push it in and wait a little bit for it to dry. Now we're gonna take apart the rest of the pieces. Let's just make sure that it fits. As you can see, it fits pretty well. Now we're gonna remove all of the little bookmarks that we created carefully. And again, I use hairspray for the bed adhesion because if you don't use any adhesive on the bed, then these little bookmarks may fail to print. So I just always, every time I'm gonna start printing again, I just do a little hairspray on the bed. So I'm putting that black rubber piece on the clock behind it, and then I'm gonna attach. Now I'm just testing it in here because I need to attach the front piece where the dog is before the nut. So I'm gonna make sure that I take out that piece and then just find that, get the front piece, and then attach the nut. See how that triangle fits with the hole that the front piece have. Then just attach the little nut. Make sure that it's strongly attached to it. Add the battery, and we just need to attach the clock hands. I needed to print or resize the clock hands because the ones that come with the file didn't fit, because this is a little bit thicker. But I did it using the same method that I use for the base where the clock is installed. So just push them in, make sure that they're fit, and the clock is working. Now there's a rotary element here, or a little tool that helps you rotate the clock hands. So just do it like that, and you're set. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you have fun with this build. And don't forget to share your builds, like and subscribe. Keep building and keep innovating. Thank you very much.